Afternoon, Professor.
Okay. Everybody, so I'm going to continue talking about solving linear systems today. So far we've seen two methods of solving linear system. First one was by graphing. Second one we saw last time was by substitution. Today we're going to see another algebraic method called addition, or it's also called elimination. Okay, this method here, addition or elimination. Another one we use to solve systems without graphing. All right, let's see the first example here. So we're going to need a system of two linear equations. Let's say x plus y is 1, and then maybe x minus y equals 4. Oh, or rather maybe 3. So the idea here is to have one of the variables from here eliminated. Once we have one of the variables eliminated, that's the reason why we call this by elimination. We're going to try to get one of these here. So if we look at these two equations here, we either add these two equations side by side, or sometimes subtract, depending on the signs of the variables and the numbers, of the variables mainly. So in this case, if we add the two equations side by side, x plus x would be 2x, and you have y minus y, basically y plus minus would be y minus y. So plus y and minus y together, and the other side we can add the numbers also together. So these two basically cancel out because positive y minus y cancel out. We end up with one variable only, 2x equals 4, and that's basically an equation with one variable. From here we can just divide by 2, so x is 2. So that's how simple it is to solve by elimination. Again, you have to figure out whether to add or subtract depending on which variable you want to cancel. It doesn't matter which one you cancel first. If you cancel one, you find the other. So now we have, so add the two sides to cancel. Add the equations to cancel. Cancel one of the variables, in this case to cancel y. And after that, we're going to use this to find the other variable, the y. So the solution, as we saw before, if there is one, it's usually a pair like this, x and y. So we have x, which is 2. We need to complete the solution, find the other variable. So what do you do with the x here in order to find the other value, which is y? How do we get it? How do we find the other one? Using x. Similar to what we did last time. So we're going to use this, we're going to plug it in one of these. It doesn't matter which one you use in order to find y. So let's use this one because it has the y here already positive, but pretty much doesn't have anything else. So this one is more convenient. So we're going to say plug x2 in equation 1 or 2, it doesn't matter. So the equation is this, so it's x plus 1, x plus y equals 1. I'm going to put the 2 here instead of the x. We'll end up with 2 plus y equals 1. Now we can solve this equation for y, simply subtract 2, subtract 2. So y is -1. As you can see, we have both variables. So x first, comma, the y is -1. And you close the parentheses. And that's basically how you solve equations or systems of equations using elimination. Again, you either add or subtract the two equations side by side in order to have one of the variables cancel out or eliminated. You cancel one of the variables you solve to find the one that's remaining, and then use that one to find the other one here. So plug x2 into equation 1 to find y. That's what we did. We found y here. Yeah, that's basically the whole idea of solving by elimination. Let's do another one here. So example 2. All right, here's one more example here. So we want to solve this system, so we need to have one of the variables eliminated. So which variable do you think will cancel out if we combine the two equations? If you look at these two equations, if we combine them, I mean, if we add or subtract them like this, vertically, side by side, which variable will cancel out? Anybody want to take a guess? Look at these two. Just like here, if we combine these, which one will eliminate? Which variable, x or y, that will eliminate? Shouldn't be that hard. We have an obvious one here. Guys, which one do you think will cancel out? Can you guys hear me? James, Marcella, Troy, are you here?
Yeah.
Okay. The other guys, are you guys here? Can you hear me? James, Troy.
I hear you.
Okay. I don't know if you can hear me or not. James, Troy, are you guys here? That's interesting. Like I'm talking to myself. So we can send them a message here. James and Troy. Can't hear you, can't see you. I mean, this is not the point of the class. If you're just going to log in and leave, it's not the point here. Attendance basically means you pay attention, you ask questions, you answer questions. Otherwise, what is the point? You're not learning anything if you're just going to. Anyways, let's go on. So there's another example here. We have two you have a system of two equations. So basically here we see that we have 2x minus x. So these will cancel out. We don't need to add another minus here. If you do another minus here, it will be minus and minus will turn into a plus, and these will not cancel out. So in this case, we already have opposite signs. We have positive 2 minus 2. If we combine these cancel out. Y, we can have y plus 2y, which is 4y, and 3 plus 5, which is 8. So good, we have an equation with one variable, so we can divide by 4, divide by 4. So y is 2. So that's our first, basically half of the answer. So we still need to find, find x. So to do that, we're going to use what we found here, plug. I'm going to plug this y into one of the equations. It doesn't matter which one you use. You look at them, you see which one is convenient. So you're looking for x, maybe choose one. This one has a positive number, not a negative number, so it's probably less confusing with when we have positive signs only. So we're going to plug this y into here and solve. So 2x plus y. Again, this y here goes into this. Y came from here. So 2x. Y is 2. It's 3. Then we solve the rest of the equation. So 2x. These cancel out. Will be 1. Finally, divide by 2, divide by 2. So x is 1/2. Okay, so we have both x and y. So that's the solution. And write those as a pair. So x first, always x first, and y second. And that's basically the solution to that system, simply by combining the two equations. Combine them right away to have one of the variables eliminated. Once one of the variables is eliminated, it becomes an equation with one variable, which is easy to solve, just like we did in the first term when we solved first degree equations. Okay, that's example 2. Let's do one more. Example 3 here.
Oh snap! My mic was off.
So here we can have something like this. Maybe, okay, so 2x, maybe 3x. So we have another system here. So we can try either to add or subtract these two equations and see if we can eliminate one of the variables. So if we add these, if we add them right now or subtract them, nothing will cancel out. If we add, for example, if we do plus, it will be 3x plus x. It will not cancel out. Same thing here, negative y plus 2y. The y will not cancel out. If we subtract, also nothing happens. 3x minus x would be x. Negative y minus 2y would be negative 3y. So basically, to cancel one of the variables, we have to have the same number here. We have 3 here. We should also have 3 here. Or if you want to cancel the y, if we have positive 2 here, we have to have negative 2. Something to cancel out. For example, negative 3 plus 3 would cancel out, or 5 minus 5 is 0. It has to be the same number next to the variables. Here, for example, we have 2 and negative 2, cancel out. Here we had positive y minus y, cancel out. But here we don't have the same number. So we either need a 3 here. We need a -3 here. So 3, the opposite of it is -3. We need a -3 here. Or we have a +2 here. We need a -2. We can do either way. We can do either one of them. Will be okay. So let's try to cancel the x. So to cancel the x, we need a -3. So we're going to need to multiply the entire equation here by -3. Not just the x, we'll have to do the entire equation. That way we're going to have this times this times that, and so on. After that, we're going to cancel 3x minus 3x.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yeah.
What would make you put that 3 right there, though?
So we could have...
Oh, so it could be even on on top and bottom?
But we can cancel out when we add or subtract. If we add or subtract right now, none of these would cancel. It's gotta be just like here, 2x, -2x. If it's 5x, it's gotta be -5x. Or here, for example, we have +3, it's gotta be -3 here. It has to be opposites to cancel out.
Okay.
Here, nothing will cancel out because we don't have the same number next to the x or the same number next to the y. So we're gonna have to either, if you have a +2, you can either make this one -2 here, or we have 3 here, we can make this -3. Again, you can do either one, it will be fine. So let's decide, for example, to eliminate this x. We have 3 here, we're gonna need a -3 here. So we're gonna multiply -3 by x. But if you multiply this by -3, the entire equation needs to be multiplied by -3. So we're going to distribute this all over the equation. After that, we have something to cancel out. So this turns into 3x minus y equals 1, -3x. So now these two cancel out. So when we combine the equations, we can cross these out. -3x minus 6y minus 9. -3x combined with this, cancel out, 0. We have -1 minus 6, that is -1 y minus 6y will be turns into -7y. And here we have 2 and minus 9. I mean 1 minus 9. Let's make this a 2 just to make things simple. So 2 minus 9 is -7. 2 minus 7y is -7y, -7. Finally, if you divide by -7 on both sides, y would be 1. That's basically half of the answer. That's the y. We need to find x. So find x. Again, I'm going to have to plug y1 into. I'm going to have to plug y1 into either equation, either here or here. So since we're looking for x, this equation here, without the -3, without the multiplication, it has x lights off, almost lights off here. So it's better to use this one than this one to find x. If you use this one, you'll have an extra step of dividing by 3 later. So let's plug it here instead. So x plus 2y equals 3. So we're going to plug this y here. So x plus 2y, or 2 times 1, y is 1. So x plus 2 is 3. Subtract 2, so x is 1. That's it. So we found both x and y. That's the solution set. Can write it as a pair. Okay, so if you can't cancel a variable right away, you may need to multiply one of the equations by a number to have one of the variables cancel out. It doesn't matter which one, again, you decide. For example, here, if you want to cancel the y, you have +2. You'll have to multiply, you have to have a 2 here too, -2. So we'll have to multiply the whole equation by -2. So you could end up with -2 here and cancel these. Or we can do like we did here. We had 3x, we need minus 3x here. So we had to multiply the entire equation by -3. So does it make sense, everybody? Any questions about this example here?
No, sir.
Okay, everybody else, you guys okay? All right, so let's do another one. You said we have 3x plus 4y, or maybe it's 2y. And maybe 2x. Plus y. Here's another system here. So if we add or subtract these two equations vertically like this, will any of the variables cancel out right away if we add or subtract? Will any of these two variables, if we add these or subtract them, will any of them cancel out? Or do we have to multiply one of them by something? So again, as we saw before, if we add them, you'll have 5x, you'll have 3y, nothing cancels out if you add. If you subtract these two, you'll have x here, 3x minus 2x is x, 2y minus y will be y, and none of them will eliminate, and we won't be able to solve. We have to have one of them eliminated. That's why we call this the elimination method. So we need to get rid of one of the variables. So again, in order for one to cancel out, it has to be the same number here. Same number here. 3 and 3, or 4 and 4, whatever, and then we subtract. Also here it has to be the same number, but none of these has the same number. We can do either.
Would you put -2 next to the y?
That's right. We're going to need a -2 here. So positive, we're going to need a -2. And then we're going to cancel these. For the x's, it won't be possible to multiply just one. We will have to multiply this one and this one. We can't get a common number here. Because you have 3 and 2. The first common number would be to have 6 here and 6 here. So you will have to multiply this one by 2, this one by 3 at the same time to get 6. But it's easier here with the y. We have +2, we just need a -2. Just need a -2 here, these will cancel out. So let's times the whole equation by -2. So it'll be like this. It's important to multiply the entire equation by 2 so the equation doesn't change. 3x plus 2y stays the same. Now we can have -4x. -2 times y would be -2y. -2 times -3 is +6. Now it's convenient, as you can see. These two cancel out. It's exactly what we needed. We can eliminate the y. So combine these two. What's 3x minus 4x? 3x minus 4x is it's like 3 -4. That would be -1. So in this case, it would be -1x. These cancel out. Combine these, 1 and 6. That's 7. Okay, and finally, we need to divide by -1 to get the x. Divided by -1, so x is -7. So that's half of our solution. We need to find the other half. So what do you do now to find the other value, y? What do you do with the x -7 to find y? Same as we did in the previous 4 or 3 examples. What do you do now? Anybody can give us an idea? We've already done this 3 or 4 times. Now it's your turn. Tell me what to do here.
Do you fill in -7 for both equations of x?
We plug -7. Why both? Just one is enough. Only
Okay.
one is enough. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna pick one of these, the one that seems easier for us. So we're looking for y. Which equation seems easier here to find y?
The second one.
Second one already has the y almost by itself, so it's better to use this. So we're gonna plug.
So what's that? -14.
Right, so we're gonna plug -7, x -7 into equation 2. And it will be easy to solve. So
Mm-hmm.
2x plus y -3. So again, this -7 goes here. -7 plus y is -3. And the rest, we know how to solve. It's the first degree. That's why we cancel one of them to solve for one. Can't solve right away. I mean, we can, but it's not easy to solve with two variables at the same time. That's why we eliminate one of them. Now we can have -14 plus y -3. And what do we do next here to find y?
Well, okay.
We want this.
Plus, you to cancel out 14, you gotta add it
Mm-hmm.
by itself. So it's at 11.
Right, so y is 11. Again, this one was easy because of y by itself. If we use this one, you would end up with 2 here, for example. You still have to divide by 2, divide by 2. But always look at the equations and pick one that seems convenient or easier for you to use. So we have both variables, or both values, x and y. Start with x first, always. Hold up there, 11. And that's pretty much it every time. If you're lucky, you will have it ready to cancel out something like this, or something like this. If not, you need to multiply one of the equations, decide which variable you want to cancel out, or which variable is easier to cancel. Sometimes you may have to multiply both. Imagine if we had 3 here. If you had 3 here, nothing will cancel out right away, or if you multiply once. You will have to multiply 1 by 2 and the other one by 3 at the same time. But luckily here we have this, it just needed a -2 here. But if we had a 3, it wouldn't have been possible. We would have to multiply both equations by some numbers to have one of the variables cancel out. And it's pretty much the same process every time. So we saw 3 methods of solving. We saw graphing on the first class about systems, and we saw substitution last time. That's when you take one of the variables and you plug it into the other. And today's method is called elimination. So the question will usually tell you which method to use: graphing, substitution, or elimination. And you have to use that method that the question is suggesting or asking you to use. If the question does not specify which method to use, then you can use either one of these. Any one of these will be fine. But if you follow the instructions of the question, if it tells you to use a certain method. Any questions about any of these problems, everybody?
No, sir. No questions.
Okay, everybody else, you guys okay? I'll give you a couple of problems to do on your own now, just like we did. So again, follow the exact same instructions and steps. Usually there's one or two steps. I mean, about 2 steps in each one. Maybe an added step sometime when you multiply, but it's 2 or 3 steps. It's going to be different numbers, but I'll give you examples with some different numbers. Solve by elimination. So you may say elimination again or addition. That means the same thing. Addition, that's when you add the 2 equations. So we add or subtract. It's called, rather call it elimination. So let's look at this one here. Let's say we have 2x. But before that, let's see, we have x, 3x plus y minus y. Okay, that's the first one. Obviously, we have, if you look at it, one of the variables can easily be eliminated by combining like terms. So there's that, and also you have to check whether you need to add the equations or subtract them, depending. Here's the other one. Okay, there's the one, and give you one more. Let's see, maybe okay, the third one. So I'll give you a hint here. You may need to multiply one of the equations by a number, because right away nothing cancels out. Okay, so work on these problems. Give you some time. Give you about 10 or 15 minutes. So again, try to do these on your own. Try to do them. Look at the examples. Don't wait for me to do them again for you. You won't learn anything. It's gonna be the same thing. You're gonna forget it in 2 minutes. So try to do it yourself. Follow the steps. That's how things stick in your head. Okay, when you learn it yourself, you will never forget it. But if I show you again how to do it, and 10 minutes afterwards, you be gone. Okay, so take your time, try it. Okay, let's go over these problems together. What did you get for the first one? Everybody, what did you get for this?
When isn't it like we gotta subtract? I mean, not subtract, but we can take both the y's out because it's imaginary one in front of them.
Okay, so what did you get?
And then after you do that,
Which variable will cancel out first?
the y's.
Okay, if we combine these cancel out. 3x, x and 3x would be
3x.
4x if we combine these two. Basically, we're adding them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right.
Basically, here we need to add them because these two can add up to 4x. These cancel out. And we have 5 combined with -1 will be 4. This means x is 1. Then find y. We're going to take the x that we have here, 1. We're going to plug it in one of these. This looks convenient. So we're going to plug the x here. Be 1 plus y is 5. That means if we subtract 1, y is 4. Okay, so it's simple. These two cancel out. For number 2, which variable will cancel out?
The force.
Force.
Well, no, unless you have to make one negative, correct?
Negative, we'll just put a negative here. So we're going to subtract the equations. If we add the equations, these two will not cancel out with 8x, but we have to subtract them. So this minus this cancel out. We have -2y minus y. -2y minus y. You have 5 minus 1. Here we have -3y. And here we have 4. Finally, divide by -3, divide by -3. Y is -4/3. We still have to find, y, we still have to find x. Either one of these will be fine to use. So let's use the first one. Find x. We're going to take the y. We're going to plug it here. So it'd be 4 times x plus 2 times y equals 5. And you just basically solve this to find x. Okay. We already know how to solve equations with fractions. But you continue here to find what the x is. For the next one here, what do you do for 3? If we add or subtract, will any of these eliminate right away?
For 3, you have to substitute and put -2x.
We need to have -2x. You're going to multiply this whole thing by -2, right?
Yes.
So it's going to be 2x minus 3y equals 1, -2x minus 4y minus 4. Now we can just combine them. So we have a negative here. We can just combine these together, basically. These cancel out. We have 3y minus 3y minus 4y will be
1y. Oh, 7y. 7y. You have to add.
y minus 3. Or 1 minus 3 would be, minus 4 would be -3.
-3.
And now we can divide by -7. Divided by -7, so it's going to be y 3/7. The same thing you got here. So we have y. We need to find x.
I found a new way.
We're going to plug this y into either this or this. It doesn't matter which one you use. You got to plug y in one equations. Let's do it in this one, maybe the second one. So it's going to be 2x minus 3 times y. Minus 3 times y. Again, y. We have it now. It's 3/7. And equals 1. And you find y, basically. Find x. Just solve this equation, first degree equation, just like this one.